Hello everyone, so this is an orientation video for the Biology 10L section. I am Dr. K. I will be going over Canvas, so it's a quick video and going over the syllabus for you. So this is the home page to the course. So if you click home on your screen, once you're logged into Canvas, I'm gonna click view as a student, so this is what it should look like. If you click home, this is where you will be. And here you have your course information, syllabus, schedule, lectures, and assignments. If you click on the syllabus, it's going to take you to this screen that's going to open the syllabus. So it's going to mention I'm your lecture instructor, and then your lab instructor. This is the contact information for me. This is the contact information for your lab instructor. I prefer that you send me a message through Canvas. And my office hours are Tuesdays and Thursdays, 12 to 1 p.m. through Zoom. And these are also listed on Canvas here as well. And you have the Zoom link, but I prefer that you send me a quick message before you join if you plan to join the hours, office hours, because sometimes if I'm logged in for a long time and nobody shows up, it just logs me out. So I just want to make sure my Zoom is turned on. Going back to the syllabus. So your lectures are hybrid, which means everything is through Canvas, and your labs are in person. So depending on if your Tuesday section, you'll be meeting at this time with your lab instructor. If your Thursday section, you'll be meeting at this, both sections are on Tuesdays, but you're either going to be in the morning section or the afternoon section, again, whichever you registered for. I do not currently have the location for your lab meetings, so please contact your lab instructor regarding the room number. If I receive them before, I will update them on the syllabus. Here are some important dates. If you want to drop the course without a W or with a W, these are the dates for it. So lectures are online again. And I will show you how they're set up. They're due on Tuesdays and Thursdays during the week. And I have broke them down into small videos, 10 to 15-minute videos. For example, for chapter 1, you might have 4 or 5 videos, but each video is going to be either 10 to 12 minutes. So you can kind of watch them and still pay attention. So for the lecture videos, I try putting one chapter each week. So you have a couple videos to do on Tuesdays and a couple videos to do on Thursdays. I'll show you where to find the schedule for that in Canvas. This is the textbook we're using. I will be sending an announcement about where to get the textbook as well once the semester starts, or a little bit before the semester starts. For the lab materials, there's a lab manual that we'll be using. I think that's available at Yuba College Bookstore for purchase. For the exams, you'll be using Lockdown Browser, which is available through Canvas. Again, you just have to click this link to download the browser and then open the exam through the browser. Or you can just download the add-on for Chrome. And if you have need technical help, you can call this number. All the PDFs for the lectures, handouts, lecture recordings, study guides for each chapter are available through Canvas. This is orientation video, so I'll be posting this on Canvas as well. You can go through what's expected of you, course expectations on your own. And here are the outcomes, the course outcomes that you're supposed to learn through the semester. And here's the grading policy. Your lecture videos are worth 30%. So when you watch the lecture video, there'll be questions popping up that you will answer and gain points. If you don't watch the video, you automatically get 0 for those questions. And you have 2 attempts on each video. So if you don't get it right the first time, you can get it right the second time. It will show you the correct answer. For lecture exams, they're worth the same as the lecture videos. And you have 2 attempts on each exam as well. Your lab work, participation lab quizzes, over 30%. Your homework is worth 10%, and total is 100%. And this is the grading scale that I'll be using. For the late policy, it's highly recommended that you watch the lecture videos on time, because your previous material is going to build on the new material. If you miss something, the next part might not make sense. You have to go back and watch them. So it's very highly recommended that you watch them on time. And if you can't watch them, we have the late policy. So if you watch them on time, you get full credit. If you watch them 1 day late, you can get 90% of the possible points. 2 days late, 80%. 3 days late, 70%. Again, this applies to the lecture videos and to your homework. This does not apply to the exams. Exams are scheduled for specific days. You have to take them on that day. For the exams, this is the makeup policy. They're given, makeup exams are given at the end of the semester only under these two circumstances. You or the family member have a medical emergency, and you can verify this with a doctor's note. You need to contact me by email within 24 hours of the exam. If you can, try to notify me a week ahead in advance, but if it's an emergency and you can't do that, that's okay. But you will need documentation if it is an emergency. And your scheduled medical appointments do not count as emergency. So that's the schedule. Exams are closed book, closed notes, but you do have 2 attempts on each exam. There is no cumulative final for the course. To download Respondus, again, you can just click this link here. These are other instructions that are regarding Respondus, so just make sure you follow these guidelines. So when you take the exam, sit in a place where you won't be interrupted. Turn off all the devices, all your notifications. If you have Mac and you have your phone notifications coming up on your computer, it's going to exit the exam. So make sure you turn the notifications off. You can't leave during the exam. Avoid wearing a cap and a mask. I need to be able to see your face. So you need to sit in a lit space, and you will need the webcam for the exam. If you need to drop the course for any reason, again, you have the date for it. You can do that on your own. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to drop you. You need to drop the course on your own. If you don't drop it and you stop attending, you'll receive F on your transcript. If you miss more than 1 week's worth of lectures or 2 weeks worth of labs, you will automatically receive a failing grade in the course. You can review these lab safety and plagiarism and cheating sections on your own. So I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to go back to Canvas. Now let's look at the schedule. So this is your course schedule. All your exams are scheduled for, actually not all of them. So they're scheduled on different days. 3 of them are on Mondays, and a couple of them are on Wednesdays. So, and then it says the chapters covered 1 to 3, 4 through 6, 7 through 11. Then you have a spring break, 12 to 14, and then 5, 18, and 19. Again, there is no cumulative final. So those are the chapters that are going to be on the exam. Your exams are multiple choice, maybe true and false, maybe 1 or 2 short answer, but that's pretty much the format for the exams. This is your lab schedule. You'll need the lab manual when you go to your lab class. And then it's gonna say Tuesday, Thursday. The reason it says that is because I scheduled your lectures for Tuesdays and Thursdays. So where to look for the assignments? It says these assignments on your to-do list. You can look here, but I think the better place to look for is your course calendar. So what you want to do is you want to click course calendar. I'm going to go into January, because that's when the course starts. You'll see that chapter 1, part 1, 2, and 3 are due on Tuesday by midnight. and then 4, 5, and then part 1 of chapter 2 is due by Thursday midnight. All your homework quizzes are due by Friday midnight. So this is how the chapters are laid out. So you have 1 chapter per week for most of the weeks. And I also made the review videos. For example, you have a video for chapter 1 and 2 review, chapter 3 review, and then when you go to the next month, it's going to show you have your exam scheduled for Monday. The exam is going to open, let's see, it's going to open at 8 a.m. on Monday, and it will close at 8 p.m. on Monday. So during those 12 hours, maybe find an hour or two to take the exam, depending on how long the exam is. If it's from chapter 1 to 3, it's probably short. But you have to find time to take the exam on the scheduled day. If you miss the exam and you don't have a documentation, you will automatically get 0. And remember that you have 2 attempts on the exam, so just make sure you plan accordingly, and it'll take your highest score from those 2 attempts. Now I'm gonna go back to the home page. Show you a couple more things. So when you click on modules, this is what it's gonna show. I was in a student view before, so I already viewed these modules. So this is your orientation to the course. And when you click it, you're gonna notice there are a couple tabs. So you're gonna have to go through all these tabs and read the information that you need. And then you'll be able to go on the next one, which is welcome to the course. Kind of tells you about exam proctoring, any other services that might be available. And as you go through these modules, you're gonna eventually get to chapter 1 and 2, which is right here. This one needs to be moved, but chapter 1 and 2. When you click it, first it's going to say learning objectives. It's going to tell you what chapter 1 covers. It's also going to tell you what chapter 2 covers and what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be watching the lecture video, read the textbook chapter, do the homework, and you can do the study guide if you want to. Those are optional. Then you have your links for the videos. So for chapter 1, we have 5 parts videos. Again, these are 10 to 12 minutes long. So you click on it, you watch the video, you take the questions, watching the video and answer them, you get your points. This is the study guide for chapter 1 and chapter 2. These are optional, but they're very helpful for the exams. If you decide to do them, you can turn them in for some extra points towards the exam. Under extra resources, I posted some videos in case you're a visual person. These are again optional. You can watch them if you're not understanding something. And then for assignments, again, you have your lecture video links again. And I also put a reminder that you have your homework for chapter 1 there. So you can again go here, or you can go to your calendar and do the assignments. It's up to you. Then you go to your home page. Or you can actually go to your assignments and you can sort the assignments either by date or by type. So if you say show by date, it's gonna show you what to do when. You can, go through this list, upcoming assignments, and do them like that. Or you go to your to-do list on your home page here, or you can go to your calendar. I think personally the best place to go is your calendar. So you kind of see them getting crossed off as you're doing them. So that's all I have to say for this. Again, I will update the lab meeting room number if I receive it. Otherwise, please contact your lab instructor by going to the syllabus and emailing him about the location of the meeting. And let me know if you guys have any questions. Thank you for listening.